All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. And boy, do I have another good one for you today. We'll be reviewing another laser engraver, just like we did before, but our good friends over here at Ortur sent us this laser engraver. They didn't pay me for this video. They haven't had any editorial influence in it, but they did send this to me for free, as long as with a sample materials package here that we'll be using to do some tests here. So I thought it would be good to do a cool video and look at the website and look over this laser engraver and see what makes it special and what makes it stand out above the other ones. And I think we will see a couple of things that do make it stand out. In the second part of the video, I'll go ahead and unbox this. As you can see, it's still sealed up. I'll go ahead and unbox everything and get it put together, and I'll tell you how hard that was and how the instructions and all of that were. So if you were to buy one of these, what you could expect in how to put it together, and how hard the instructions are to follow, and if there's any hiccups or anything like that. And then the last part of the video, I'll go ahead and do a sample engraving with one of the things out of the box here, and we'll see how this thing runs, and I'll give you my first impressions and thoughts of the laser engraver after that. So if all that sounds good, then sit back and relax, and I'll get everything ready. All right, so here's the kit that I have. It's the Ortur LM3 laser engraving and cutting machine, 20 watt, and I have the air pump with it. I have the 110 volt version since I'm here in the US, and as we saw, this is what I put together. And one thing that to note that I was kind of surprised with when I was putting it together is there's actually no display on here. I'm not sure that you actually need one, and we'll see if that affects anything, but there's actually no display on here, and there's a big emergency stop button on there, which I do like that. So here's a little bit about how it works. It has 4 5-watt lasers that are combined into a 20 watt, so it says. And one of the benefits of this one over the other ones is smaller cutting. If you do woodworking or anything, I think we refer to this as kerf, right? Like if you're cutting with the blade, like how much material is it removing, right? The thickness of it or the kerf of it. So others, it shows a wider cut than it does on the Ortur here, or Ortur, whatever it is. And then it shows very high speed, so we'll check that out as well, 20,000 millimeters per minute. And then it says unleash 380 color inspiration on stainless steel. Multi-accessory capable, built-in Wi-Fi. There's actually a little Wi-Fi antenna right here. There's a little summary of everything that we just talked about. One-step focusing, air pump. Talked about the technology there. Cutting in one pass. So they did send some plywood and some MDF, so we'll cut some of that and see what it looks like. The kerf, the stainless, air assist. I will say it is very well engineered. Everything looks like there's a purpose to where it is. It was not the easiest thing to put together, but I think that was more on the instructions, but it is very well built. And then we will see that it has Laser Explorer, which is their software that's only available on your phone, or you can use Lightburn or this Laser GRBL. So we've used Lightburn in the past, so we'll go ahead and use that for the next one. So now that we've taken a look at everything here, let's go ahead and get it unboxed, and then I'll meet you back in Light. All right, so let's go ahead and open the box and see what's in here. More boxes, yay. All right, so it looks like we have the air pump. And this air pump is much heavier than the other one that we did. All right, so there's the box, and we'll go ahead and tear into it. Okay, so there's some real clear color instructions that we'll go through here in a minute. And all kinds of data sheets and like a whole booklet of information that comes with this. Oh yeah, like detailed instructions and everything. So we'll be going through all of this stuff, I'm sure. But let's go ahead and get the rest of it out. I mean, that's pretty high speed to send all of the stuff in here instead of little plastic baggies that you have to go find and everything. So that's pretty nice. It's one of the ends of it. Everything looks pretty high quality, honestly. And it looks like all the rest of the stuff is in here. There's the laser diode. Oh, the best part. I should have started my intro, but I hadn't opened the box yet, but they're awesome sunglasses. We'll be wearing these for the rest of the video. Oh, they're kind of broken. Power cables and all of that. And here's the arm that the diode fits on, and man, that's a different mount. Everything looks really much better quality than I've seen in other laser engravers, just from the get-go. And then here's the last few pieces of the frame. The belts, the wireless antenna, some more cabling. This looks like a little, test pieces, zip ties for some of the cables and everything. Looks like a dog tag sample, a little brush and everything. So I'm sure we'll be using those here in a minute. And then this looks like the air fittings and everything for the air pump. All right, so now that we got that all out of the way, let's take a look at the air pump. All right, so let's go ahead and open the air pump. And it comes with some literature. Power cable with a knob to adjust it. So that's cool. The other air pump that I have is all or nothing on that one, so that's cool. That one looks like you can at least adjust it. And yeah, this one's so much heavier, and wow, it has these cool little rubber legs on there as well. And then there's the air hose and some more fittings. So yeah, look at that. It looks cool. It has those rubber feet. So that probably helps with the vibration and a lot of the noise from the air pump, because this will be noisy. I'm expecting that, and heads up on the good, bad, and the ugly. The bad portion is going to be noisy, as is with everything that is in this room. It is all noisy. That's why it's in this room with the door sitting right over there. So now that we have that, let's take a look at the sample material box that they sent me. All right, so let's see what's in here. All right, wow, they sent some really big pieces of, looks like plywood, and then particle board, or MDF, media density fiber board. Oh, cool. Cool little picture frame. That'll be a project for the near future. That's pretty cool, though. Cool little picture frame, and it even has the little stand in the back, and even where you can take this piece of it out. So that's pretty cool. And there's some dog tags in here, some chain for it. Ooh, another picture frame. This looks like some sort of oak, but it's just a sticker. That's pretty cool. And then just some more sheets of paper and stuff. And just different material to do the engravings on. So that has some sort of ink or something on there. I'm sure that the laser will burn that away pretty easily. So let's take a look at that. Business cards, which I have some of these as well, but different color ones, and some cork. All right, and that's everything that's in the material box. So let me get everything cleaned up here and we'll start putting it together. All right, so I was able to get it together. It took about an hour. Was not the easiest thing in the world to do, but it wasn't that bad. For the instructions, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Some of the things that held it back from being a 10 is in some of the critical parts, little set screws were black against a black background, and it was kind of hard to tell what was going on there. And some of the wording in the instructions wasn't completely clear. But it wasn't bad at all. It took about an hour, and I will say the build quality on it is really, really good. So I am impressed with that. Took a little bit longer to put together than the other laser engravers that I've put together, but it wasn't that bad at all. So now let's jump into the software and let's get a test engrave ready to go. And I'll get this thing in my enclosure with the fan and with the little plates and everything, and we'll get it going from there. So I'll see you in the computer. All right. So we're going to scratch the light burn idea because I did find something super cool about this machine and probably the difference maker from other machines that I've seen so far. And again, I'm no expert at laser engravers, but you'll see we're here in the iPhone app, and that's how you connect it. It doesn't actually have a display or anything on it. So at the end of putting it together, when you first fire it up, you turn this on, and this app walks you through connecting it to your Wi-Fi. You push the power button 5 times to put it in pairing mode or whatever, and then it sets everything up. And then everything is set up from there. And as you can see, I can click on the control button, and we have full control over, the engraver. So we'll go back to the origin there. So that's really cool. You have access to everything from your phone. And what's handy about this is you have control of it when you're right next to it. Similar to having a display on it, but I think this, the touchscreen on the iPhone works a lot better. And it is handy to have all of this when you're right next to it. Like I said, instead of having to do everything at your computer and then run back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So a couple cool things in here. There's a library of a bunch of objects in here that you can print right away. There's also an album here, and you'll see some recent stuff. That's the stuff that I've done on there, as well as you can get to your photo album as well. And what's cool about that is you can actually take a photo and immediately send it to print, which is what we're going to do today. And I've already, set the origin on that, and in the control, you can move this around to the start point that you want to have, and click the set origin that you see in the app there. And once you do that, that's going to tell it where you want it to start, and we're going to leave it in the origin spot because that's going to be important here in a few. So I thought what would be cool today, instead of just doing a normal engraving of, cutting out a box or whatever that we've seen a million times, I thought I would try out, taking a picture with my phone and then kind of engraving that. And I did try it out once, and it worked really, really well. So I'll show you how I did that. So in the album, you'll see in the upper right hand corner, you have access to your camera. You can click on that and go ahead and take a picture directly from there, or it gives you the option to have access to your photo album. And obviously, I don't want you guys to see all of my photos, but I will show you a photo of Chief here, who's a very, very good boy. So I took a photo of him earlier, and you can see it here on the iPhone. And we can go ahead and adjust everything for the photo before we go ahead and engrave it. And there's a couple of things that we'll want to do. The little kit, I'll leave a link to it, the little kit that I have with the picture frames and everything, the pieces of wood, the plywood that you see sitting on the engraver right now is the right size for the picture frame. So I thought it'd be cool to, engrave a picture of Chief, who's a good boy, and put it in that picture frame. And if you'd like to see more of Chief in my videos, please smash that like button, and we'll make sure that Chief gets into these videos. So the first thing that we'll want to do is we'll want to crop it, right? Because the picture frame is 200 by 200 millimeters. So what we'll want to do is click on square, and the little blue thing that's highlighted right now is the thing that I clicked on in order to do that. And everything looks pretty good there, so we'll hit complete, and now it's in a square. So now we'll click on the adjust button, and we can adjust the contrast, and we're going to want to lighten him up just a little bit, and that way we get all of his features in there. And then these highlights there, that way his eye on the right is going to be hard to get. I don't know how much of that we'll get because it's kind of dark there, but we'll go with that. And then we can turn on the black and white filter, which will make it pop out a little bit more. And now we have a photo that's ready to go. And you see I took a photo and we adjusted it very, very quickly. And it's actually ready to go. And all we do is hit the next button in the upper right hand corner, and we'll see that it shows up on our grid square. So this looks similar to Lightburn and the rest of these. But what we do want to do is set this to 195 by 195. We want to make it just short of 200 by 200 is what is on there right now. So let's do 195. And when we hit done, as long as that lock button there is the little blue lock button, as long as that's on there, it'll keep the ratio of whatever the sizes were there. So since we made it a square, it's going to keep it a square. But if you want to adjust that, you just click on that lock and unlock it, and it'll do that. Now the next thing that we can is hit preview region. And what this is going to do is it's going to make sure that our laser is going to print all the way around the wood. All right, so now that we have that set, we'll want to go to image adjustment here, and we can again adjust the brightness, the contrast, as well as the white threshold a little bit there. And then the next thing that we'll want to do is go to configure. And here is where you can set everything up. And there's also presets and everything for all of the different plywood, pine board, vector, scan, dot matrix, craft paper, bamboo, not the bamboo that we're used to on here, plated metal, right? All of this stuff, there's all kinds of presets that are already in there, which you don't get by using Lightburn or the other ones that I know of, right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a custom one, and I did this one a little while ago and it turned out really, really good. So we'll do it again. And all I did is clicked on this custom one, and once you start changing it, it says, do you want, if you change it, it's going to make a new one, and you're going to click yes, and we'll do that here in a minute. To do the photo things, that's a scan, right? Because it goes back and forth. So we'll want to do that. We'll leave the laser at 100%. The last one that I did that turned out really cool, I did at 10,000 millimeters per minute. I think that was a little bit slow. This will go all the way up to 20,000 millimeters per minute. But you know, the higher speed, less quality, and it doesn't like burn into the wood quite as much. The 10,000 was probably a little bit much. So let's try 15,000 on there and see what that does. And then times is how many times it's going to pass, what laser mode, the direction that you want it to go in, and we're going to put it on high quality as well. So again, we can go back into control, get everything set up. We can go back to preview here. And the next thing that we'll need to do is close everything up. And again, I do highly recommend that you put your laser engraver in an enclosure. So I'm going to get that closed up, and then we'll go ahead and hit the start button. All right, now that that's done, let's go ahead and hit start. And please check that the laser is in focus, and I checked that a little while ago. And then here it's going to ask you start at preview layer position or start from laser module position. I go from the start from the laser module position because I just did the origin and we made sure that everything was good to go there. It will bring up this little warning, making sure that that's what I want to do. And again, it gives you the option to preview the region. So we'll go ahead and do that, even with it closed. And we'll see that nothing moved and we're still good to go on that. And once it's back to the start, we'll hit engrave. And this I have noticed sometimes does take a little while. And basically what it's doing is it's sending that file to the engraver and then it's saving it on the little SD card that comes with it, which is kind of cool because then you have access to these prints later on. So we'll give it a couple of minutes and let it send it on over. All right, so as you can see, it took a couple of minutes for it to get sent over to the engraver, but now it is ready to go and it is saved on the little memory card. And all you have to do now is hit the little run button in the lower right-hand corner and bring up, and it'll say, you know, attention, it's dangerous. And yeah, for sure, pay attention. And if you don't have an enclosure, make sure you're wearing your glasses. So we'll go ahead and hit the confirm button. And it went ahead and homed itself, and it's starting to print. So I'll see you in about 30-45 minutes whenever it gets done. All right, so as you can see, that turned out really well. To be able to just take a picture from my phone and then, turn it into something like that with the frame and everything, literally in a couple of hours, was pretty cool and is very, very intuitive and easy to use. So I got to give a lot of thumbs up to Ortur. Kind of off to a rough start. It wasn't the easiest thing to put together in the world, but just pay attention to everything. And like I said, some of the stuff's kind of hidden in the pictures there, but just pay attention and you can figure it out. But as far as the usability with the iPhone app and everything like that, man, this thing is really, really cool. And it's easy to use. I haven't even used Lightburn or anything yet, and I'm already about 6 prints in or 6 engravings into this thing. The next thing that I want to try is the steel with all of the colors and everything like that. So let's go through the good, the bad, and the ugly on this thing. And the good is definitely the ease of use of the app and to be able to kind of do everything from the app on your phone is very, very handy, and that is the good. It's very, very high quality. It's well built. Everything is really, really cool. Looks really nice. It has an emergency stop button. I did test that. It does work right away. So that's cool. If stuff goes awry, you can do that. So as far as the good, the build quality, the app, the overall experience, is definitely good. As far as the bad, as with everything that's in this room, one of the bad is the noise that it does make. So you're not going to sit this next to yourself in the living room or something like that and have it run. It's pretty loud for that. And the other reason that you're not going to be able to do that is it does smell like a campfire after you've engraved with this thing if you don't have an enclosure. So I definitely recommend an enclosure. I'll have a link in the description below to a couple of them that I recommend, one from Ortur and one that I got off of Amazon. So I definitely recommend that. So the smell of the smoke definitely is another bad portion of it. That's going to be that for all of the laser engravers. So make sure if you are going to do laser engraving that you do get a really, really good enclosure with an exhaust fan that's actually going to blow the smoke out so that you can put it out a window or something like that. And then for the ugly, really the ugly is just going to be in the instructions. So some of the pictures were really, really hard to see on there. And I know I'm nitpicking right here. This is really a nitpick. But I think they could have done a little bit better with the instructions in the book and made them maybe color, maybe worked on some of the pictures with the contrast and everything like that. But like I said before, it's nothing that you can't get past. And I'm really nitpicking to find an ugly with it as far as that's concerned. So I'll go ahead and wrap it up. Is this something that I would recommend? Heck yeah. If you've been on the fence because a couple of you on the last laser engraver that I reviewed mentioned that, not having that whole ecosystem, kind of like the bamboo printer, having the whole ecosystem with the app, studio, and all of that stuff. Well, this laser engraver is very, very close to that same type of experience with the app on the phone, and I haven't even had to use anything on the computer yet, so that's pretty cool. So I would definitely recommend it. I would definitely give this a shot. If you've been looking into it, have been on the fence, this is the one that I think you should pull the trigger on. So I hope today's video helped you make a decision on any of the laser engravers that you might be looking at, or if you just found this interesting to see other things that people are doing in their makerspace, then hopefully this video was good for you. So make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe for future videos. I got some real cool ones coming up. And I hope everybody has a good rest of their week. And I appreciate everybody for watching. Thank you. Thank you.